What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wrestling City, and today we're going to be doing another reaction video from What Culture Wrestling, and this one is titled 10 WWE WrestleMania Matches Nobody Wanted. So obviously with WrestleMania being around for 40, now 41 years, there are bound to be some stinker matches that nobody wanted to watch. They wanted to see these other big matches on the card, and it was that one match was there, and we kind of just had to sit through it to get to the good stuff. Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler, I'm assuming, is going to be on here. Maybe Giant Gonzalez and Undertaker, but I don't really know any other ones off the top of my head, so I'm interested in what they put on this list. Let's go ahead and get this one started.
WrestleMania is the show of all shows. Even people that don't watch WWE will have a quick look when Mania rolls around.
Yeah.
If you're into your moments, this is the time. Commentary tells us that constantly. As of me speaking, we've had 40 of these, which actually isn't that many, and yet we have still had plenty of matches that make you go, what? So let's try and make sense of these though, for I am Simon Miller. This is 10 WrestleMania matches nobody wanted.
Get it started.
10 The Big Show versus Akibono.
Makes
I am all up
sense.
for new ideas in wrestling. And if you want to make an elephant the champion, do it. Just push Nelly hard, damn it. That's all I ask. At Mania 21, maybe we went too far with this though. WWE brought in sumo wrestling great Akibono to have a legit sumo fight with the Big Show. I mean, why? Do not forget this comes between Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle and John Cena versus JBL.
That is crazy.
I do understand trying to broaden your appeal, but if somebody tuned in for this, well, they're just going to tune out again after, aren't they? The word has
I
always
don't
been
need
this
to
was some
see
sort of
this, bro. Big Show in that attire is crazy. These matches just don't work, man. That's the thing. Like, I think we've hopefully realized now because they haven't attempted to do it in quite some time. But these, like, real life matches where you indirectly acknowledge that wrestling isn't real or is a work, however you want to say it. With this match, with the Brawl for All, I guess Floyd Mayweather and Big Show at WrestleMania is one of the examples of ones that did work, but they still worked it, It wasn't just Floyd Mayweather just beating Big Show's ass. This one, sumo wrestling, is not going to work at WrestleMania. And seeing Big Show in this, man, I'm going to see this in my nightmares. Thank you for reminding me of this, Simon.
punishment on Paul White for various behind-the-scenes issues. I can think of worse things to do. I mean, he was still competing with the legend of their sport. I do believe it was legit as well because Akibono just smashed through this guy and it was over incredibly fast. Then, of course, we had the Big Show's backside being mean years later. Who didn't want that? So it's just weird, really, and again, it's nice to do different things. I don't think this was it. Number 9, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20. Well, we all did want it at some point. When Goldberg and Lesnar fell out during the Royal Rumble, I think people were pumped. Then we learned about all the other news. If you do not know, this was during Brock's first WWE run, and he was fed up with the nonsense and the travel schedule, so he quit. Not good. He was meant to be our new top star. By this point, the fight between the pair was already booked, so WWE just changed the finish. That wasn't ideal either. Bill had only signed a one-year deal, and that ended after WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, man. So both people were leaving WWE, and once people found out about it, they all turned on both people. Because at first it was just Lesnar, so they were like, or maybe it was the opposite, whatever he just said. One of them was leaving, so they were supporting the other person. And then when that found out both were leaving, they were like, get off WrestleMania. So they booed him out of the building. But I don't think it's fair to say that nobody wanted this match. Before, obviously now we've seen it and we're all pretty, in general, sick of Goldberg. Maybe there's some people that are disagreeing with me right now. But this was the first time they faced, and this was still like within the first year of Goldberg being back in WWE, or within the first 2 years. So he was still pretty hot at this time. So I don't know if I agree with this one as much. The match was not good though. I can agree with that.
20. Oh dear. Somebody, most likely the company, ensured this leaked out to the public too, meaning during their match, thousands of people booed the hell out of both of these dudes. How dare you leave us? The rumor has always been that Shane McMahon is also in the crowd, geeing them all on. And thank goodness Steve Austin is the special guest referee. He does have the time of his life because he finds it all so funny. It also allows the fast to end with some stunners, so most of the audience was happy, but yeah, if wrestling was all about the correct reaction, nobody wanted this. It turned out to be a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Number 8, The Undertaker versus A-Train and The Big Show at WrestleMania 19. This was meant to be a proper tag match. Furthermore, we were using The Undertaker's famous Mania spot to try and help get Nathan Jones over. That's how much WWE wanted this. Certainly because he was massive, we pushed him way too fast and he had to pull out, which left us with this mad fight instead. Albert and the Big Show facing off against the Dead Man. Now you do get Biker Taker riding to the ring as Limp Bizkit played his theme, so that will be remembered.
Classic.
I'm not sure anybody wanted this when it came to the streak. It lacked.
Yeah, of course nobody wanted this. That sounds like a universe mode match. Just some random A-Train and Big Show versus Undertaker. But apparently Nathan Jones, like in real life, he's doing good now. He's like doing movie roles or something like that. So good for him, man. It just sucks that it had to come, you know, him leaving WWE had to come at the cost of one of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches. But this was before the streak became a bigger thing.
The usual magic. It even ends ridiculously because Nathan does turn up, but the whole thing feels like it should be on Raw. Not sure there was any proper reason why Show and the Prince were together either. Mostly because someone told them that they were now. I guess that's why this sort of has been lost to the passages of time. That's just a bit weird. Number 7, Steve Austin versus Scott Hall. I love both these guys. They both left their mark on the industry, but man, their WrestleMania clash just wasn't it. Wrong place, wrong time. I mean, you had The Rock and Hulk Hogan on this card, which overshadowed everything, and that also shone a bigger spotlight onto Austin. He was WWE's most giant of stars. Why on earth was he in a random fight halfway through the event? No wonder he was about to get really fatigued with the creative process. You also had Kevin Nash on the outside, and it felt like we could do more with him. And this goes less than 12 minutes. I mean, the year before, Steve was main eventing the entire thing. I'm not saying that Hall versus Austin isn't deserving of a feud, but the whole thing feels rushed, and as such, the fans struggled to accept it. There were too many questions. When you remember that Mania 19 was Stone Cold Swan Song 2, we did not take advantage of this. We did not take advantage of
the stunners were crazy.
Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania 39. Well, I will push back on this one because I wanted to see it. I have been outvoted here though, so we'll just move on. For me, why not have two massive men smashing the ring, especially when we've got 2 nights to fill? The only issue for me was that Omos should have won. That's right, I said it and I mean it. I think a lot of the frustration came from all the build because Brock went through 2 other potentials before we landed here. We teased something with Bray Wyatt, which had been super interesting, and then we went to Bobby Lashley. From nowhere, Omos was just around. That was honestly the build. Lesnar did sell for this guy too, but ultimately it was a huge F5 1, 2, 3 after a short scrap. But honestly, what else was there to do with Brock at this time? Another Roman Reigns match? I'm good, thank you.
I mean, it's hard because Omos, I mean, I've seen him in some interviews more recently, and he seems like a genuinely cool person. Like, he seems like a cool dude to hang out with. But in the ring, he just didn't have what it took. And this WrestleMania match, I think, really showed that. He had the looks, but the in-ring skills just weren't there, man. But I agree that maybe Omos should have gotten that win. But at the same time, him just beating Lesnar with no build-up, I don't know. They just shouldn't have had this match. I think we can agree on that.
Around this point, I think we'd done 78 of them. So sure, there was nothing to write home about here and nobody talks about it much, but as somewhat of a bit of fun over a weekend card, thought it was perfectly fine. But hey ho, I guess others didn't really want it. Number 5, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler at WrestleMania 27. Let me make something very clear. Michael Cole is brilliant at his job, so much so he also knew what it took to become a wonderful heel. Genuinely. That coal mine, brilliant. The issue back in 2011 is that he was our lead WWE announcer, so having him being ass constantly got a bit tiring. His feud with commentary partner Jerry Lawler was also a lot. All you need to do is look at Steve Austin as a special guest referee during this to get a facial expression reaction we were all feeling. And with entrances, this went over 20 minutes. What were we doing? And I don't mind goofy stuff like this at all, but it just felt out of place at WrestleMania. And the fact Jack Swagger was thrown in for no reason too, you don't even get a proper finish. I think this mostly irked individuals because Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan was on the pre-show, and yeah, I get it. If this had been 5 minutes, nobody would have minded. Just ensure the heel gets their ass kicked. But nope, really when you do break it down, we went entirely the other way. Number 4, Braun Strowman versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 36. This was not their fault.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 36
exactly.
in general is a show you do not want to go back to. It's utterly miserable. This is because the world had been shut down thanks to the pandemic, so all of WWE's plans were in a state of flux. We'd only given Goldberg the world title because Vince McMahon wanted to see Bill versus Roman Reigns at the show of shows, and then Roman had to go away to protect his health. You're damn right. What's more important than that? It meant that every step of the way things were changing, including this. We just moved Braun Strowman into the mix and had him win the WWE Championship. That wasn't fair on Strowman either. There was no way to win a title. That's the reason it's not talked about much, and it's just honestly the whole shebang. They got dragged into the mire, but yeah, it's not great, but there's no way that it could have been.
Yeah, man, that's nothing they could have really controlled, like he said. This is just a weird WrestleMania to look back at. COVID really messed up basically everything for this event. I mean, this was in front of nobody. Nobody was in attendance. They didn't even have the Thunderdome set up yet. So this was just in the middle of the Performance Center. And while at the time, I personally, maybe it's a hot take, but I really like Strowman. Even to this day, I think he deserves. I feel like people turned on him, but he was so over when he was feuding with Roman Reigns in 17, you know, like the "I'm not finished with you," tipping over the ambulance. He was so over, man. In 2020, I was glad to see him get the Universal title, and I was even happier that Goldberg did not beat him during this match. That was the right decision. But I don't think anybody wanted to see many matches at this. It kind of ruined everything with COVID, so you could put almost this entire card, except for I guess Cena and Bray, or maybe Drew and Brock. Everything else was just kind of there, you know? But congrats for Braun, man.
Two big dudes smashing into each other in
Mm-hmm.
front of no fans. I'm good. But thank you anyway. Number 3, Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee at WrestleMania 38. It is harder to talk about this now for obvious reasons, but I will say this. If Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee had been promoted beforehand, no way people would have kicked off. Given it did come out of nowhere, however, and Steve Austin got involved, I don't know, man. It was sort of entertaining. It was also crazy because we just had Pat versus Austin Theory when boom wham bang, McMahon was here and he got into an official fight. It's also one of the worst matches ever, but somehow that makes it fun.
His stunner
That Stone
cell.
Cold Stunner at the end. My gosh, not even Austin could hide it. He burst out laughing. This was an absolute farce. Once again, I do understand it though, because if WWE is selling Mania as its ultimate location, no way is the entire fan base gonna want this. It's like we all took a bunch of drugs and saw what we wanted to see, or something. Still can't believe this happened. I think it's genuinely insane.
I forgot Vince
Number 2,
won.
Bart Gunn versus Butterbean at WrestleMania 15. This one got worse with hindsight. I mean, it's awful. In case you don't know, Bart Gunn won the Brawl for All tournament in 1998, which was a shoot fight competition, but he wasn't meant to. Don't overthink it. It doesn't make sense. It was really dumb.
Rude
Because
stuff,
Gunn had
man.
entered himself into this position, however, and WWE didn't want to push him, the alternative to that was a punishment. I am not kidding. This meant we did put him in the ring with Butterbean, and sure, he was somewhat of a gimmick boxer, but he was still a professional. The man sparked out Bart in seconds, and it was horrible. It honestly looked like Gunn had died. The fact this went down at Mania somehow made it worse too. Who wants to see this sort of treatment on a show like this? Bart only agreed to be in the damn thing because he wanted to be a good company guy. I mean, talk about being treated quite unfairly.
Yeah, apparently Butterbean, like when he was first contacted for this match, he thought it was like he thought it was going to be a scripted boxing match, and he was down to go with a scripted, you know, setup for it. But they said no, this is an actual boxing match. So he went in and had to kill Bart Gunn, completely killed any momentum he could have potentially had. Man, shooting at WrestleMania, any sort of stuff like this, like mixing boxing or mixing sumo matches, it doesn't work. I pray that we never get to deal with that ever again with Triple H being in charge. Fingers crossed.
One Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35. I
Awful.
want to make this clear right away. This was not Baron Corbin's fault. Nobody wanted Brock Lesnar to defeat The Undertaker either for the streak, but we got the most out of that to say the least. With Corbin, man, we didn't give him a thing. It sounded like this was Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon because Kurt Angle had asked for John Cena, and yeah, this would have brought his career full circle, but Vince refused, so gave the spot to Baron instead. Now, personally, I think Kurt was one of those stars that could have retired with a win, but if you're gonna have him lose, go all the way, man. Let Corbin talk about it for years, make an entire run out of it. He wasn't allowed that, and that sort of meant Angle had just been thrown to the wayside, so everybody looked upon this sadly. It was just bad management, bad booking, and people not thinking about long-term stories. It's not good though, and a huge mistake by the company. Everybody could have benefited here, and instead, nobody did. Know of any other matches that nobody wanted to see at WrestleMania?
So
Please.
that was 10 WWE WrestleMania matches nobody wanted. Another great video by What Culture Wrestling. Yeah, this number one part, Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle, like Kurt Angle backstage, all he was saying he wanted for his retirement match to face John Cena. I mean, John Cena debuted against Kurt Angle, so why not have him retire Kurt Angle? I mean, it made sense. WWE in 2019 was just the dark times. I mean, maybe I think I've said this before. I need to go back and watch a video talking about just the awful stuff we had from 2019 alone. It is almost, it feels like it's endless. Bad angle after bad angle. And this was just another one of them. I think Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler was probably the worst one on this list, though. Literally nobody cared, and it went on 20 minutes. That is insane. But yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like, comment below which one you think is the worst match, and subscribe. Come join the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. And that's about it. I will see y'all next time. Peace.